I was reminded of something today, which is when a shift in a relationship with a sensitive woman occurs, what some of the pushback is. So, a lot of my clients, a lot of sensitive women, learned throughout their life to take responsibility in ways that haven't been all that healthy for everybody else's feelings. It's really easy to do, really easy to unconsciously fall into this pattern. We are feeling everybody's feelings, being empathic, and we want to help them with it and fix those feelings for them. But what ends up happening is that we overburden ourselves with too much responsibility. And it's not healthy both for us as a sensitive person and for the other person because they don't learn to take responsibility for their own feelings. So generally, we as human beings aren't given a lot of skills, taught a lot of skills about how to identify what we're feeling and then ask for our emotional needs to be met. It's not a language that's really typical in our culture. Lots of people are working to change that, and I'm very supportive of that. Do some of that myself. And then you sort of layer on that the aspect of being in a relationship with a man, and generally in our culture, men are taught not to not only express their emotions, but there are lots of ways in which our culture tells men not to even have feelings. So it can be really, really, all these factors add up to often overburdening, heavily overburdening the woman in a relationship when the woman is sensitive. It could happen in any relationship, but I see it in particularly in the relationships with sensitive women. And when I'm coaching my clients to let go of this responsibility and try and develop healthier communication and healthier habits within the relationship that's more supportive to both partners in the relationship, I try to give them a heads up. And that is that when someone is accustomed to you taking responsibility for something, in this case, their feelings, and you start to pull back on that responsibility and hand it back over to them, quite often you are going to experience a pushback. And you are going to need to remind the person and reiterate your boundaries and reiterate what it is that you're doing, because the tendency to fall back into old habits is really, really strong. I'm noticing it, or I'm observing this right now, with a woman who has put a lot of these practices into place, and things have been going pretty smoothly and pretty well for a while. And now both she and her husband are under different varying degrees of stress from their own realms, separate realms of life. And what's happening is those old patterns are starting to creep back in. The husband is finding himself a little bit overwhelmed with some stress at work and wanting someone else to take responsibility again. So expect the pushback. If you, just to give you a real life example, if you've always done all the housework and all of a sudden you ask your kids to step in and take responsibility for more of the housework, you're going to have to keep reminding them, hey, it's your week to do garbage, or it's your week to do toilets, because they're not in the habit of taking responsibility for these items. And it is the same in your relationship when you start to work for a greater balance amongst emotional responsibility. So it doesn't mean that things aren't working. It doesn't mean that the path that you're walking to create better balance is off course. It just means that you need to redefine your boundaries and reiterate your boundaries and renegotiate things once again, because that's what life is. It's a back and forth, especially in a relationship. So just wanted to offer that up as a heads up for anyone in process with this right now. And hope that that was helpful. Bye, guys.